I am Komladum. Thank you for joining us. Now, Deputy Communications Director of the Electoral Commission, Yusuf Al-Hassan Ayuba, has stated that constituting a committee to oversee the implementation of a representation of a People's Amendment Act, also known as ROPAR, does not guarantee its rollout in the 2020 general elections. This came up in an interview with Joy News after an IPAC meeting yesterday with EC to announce efforts underway by the Electoral Commission to initiate the process that will allow Ghanaians in the diaspora vote in the 2020 elections. The implementation of ROPAR has been on the drawing board for over a decade now, mainly because the EC had argued it was not adequately equipped to implement the law passed in 2006.
The representation of the People's Amendment Law, also known as ROPAR, seeks to provide an opportunity for Ghanaians living abroad to participate in general election. The law was passed by Parliament 12 years ago, but it is yet to be implemented. The news by the Electoral Commission to constitute a committee to oversee its smooth rollout was welcoming to the political parties at the last Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting held Thursday, October 18, 2018. Yusuf Al-Hassan Ayuba is the Deputy Communications Director at the Electoral Commission.
Parliament has passed the law, right, but as to whether we can implement it within the shortest possible time.
I mean, this was in 2006.
Yes, the commission had been
over a decade.
The commission has been working around it, and now we think that we have to look at the recommendations. There's a court ruling. We'll go back to court with a recommendation to the court. So it's too early to be emphatic that 2020 ROPAR will be implemented.
A suit was brought against the Electoral Commission questioning why the election management body had failed to implement ROPAR since its passage. This year, an Accra High Court ruled in favor of the applicant and ordered the EC within 12 months to execute ROPAR. This is the concrete first step by the EC in compliance with the court ruling. The NDC, however, had reservations regarding the process leading to the implementation. Johnson Esiedun Ketia is the General Secretary of the NDC.
We have never said we are against foreigners, Ghanaians living outside voting. Yeah. We're saying that the process leading to that voting is open to abuse. And then we gave reasons why, and those reasons were upheld by the Electoral Commission. So the issue now is to go and look at the reasons again. If they are still valid, then I think the conclusion will still be valid. If they have something has changed to improve the situation, then you can begin talking about implementation of ROPAR. At this stage yet, no such decision has been taken.
Other political party representatives have also been speaking with Joy News' Parker Wilson.
Indication I'm getting from this new commission is that they're prepared to get it off the ground in 2020, and that they would need the assistance of the political parties to ensure that it gets a smooth sailing into 2020.
Now, officials from the Food and Drugs Authority and the Fisheries Ministry are on a fact-finding mission at Asuchari in the Greater Accra region after tons of tilapia died en masse at a fish farm there. They are reported tilapia died because there may be a strain of a genetically modified organism that could not survive conditions in the fish ponds in Accra. Public Relations Officer of the FDA, James Latte, says they are ensuring the contaminated tilapia does not get onto the market. We'll hear from him shortly. But first, Head of Fish Health Unit of the Fisheries Ministry, Dr. Peter Zeda, tells Mama Vio Uswabuaje earlier on the polls on News Desk that samples of the fish and water from the ponds are being tested to uncover the exact causes of the deaths.
We are now investigating. We've taken the water, we've taken the fish. Samples of the fish have been sent out to see whether a dreaded TRLV is in Ghana. We've cultured some, and we are seeing the normal bacteria that are in the water. 1. 2, the water is being analyzed by a lab in Ghana. They are telling us 1 week we'll get the results. We are sending more water. Even today, we are sending more water again. So you can see what we're doing since Monday.
But is there a peculiar issue with the Asuchari area?
Rightly, the Volta Lake itself, but this is downstream. This is downstream, the lake, the dams. So normally, no. But the peculiar issue, I would say, that happens is this upturn and this coming up of the chemicals. You see, we don't enforce our laws, and we allow a lot of chemicals into this country for farming because it's the chemical of choice.
So when you say we don't enforce our laws, whose responsibility is that?
The VRA is supposed to do to protect the river, EPA, but the whole thing is that it's, the district assemblies are supposed to do that. People farm as near as the river or the lakes, and then they use fertilizers by them. And all these things go to rest in this river.
So what are the immediate measures that you've taken so far in terms of...
The immediate measures we've taken so far is to bury all the fish at the site. We created a disposal site, we buried, disinfected the place, and we are not allowing people to go into the district.
We can now listen to the Public Relations Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, James Latte, who says there is a monitoring exercise ongoing to ensure the fish does not reach the consumers.
Currently, FDA, Ghana Standard Authority, and Ministry of Fisheries, we are collaborating to deal with the issue. And I know Ministry of Fisheries has picked samples from the place already and taken to Standard Authority for it to be tested to confirm what is the cause of, let me put it, the death of the fishes. And then FDA, in our collaboration, we are also ensuring that the products will not come into trade. So this is what is happening at the moment.
Let's do some more stories now. In the Legon chapter of the University Teachers Association of Ghana is today making a case for post-retirement contract lecturers to remain on government's payroll. UTAC Legon President Dr. Harry Agbanu, in an interview with Maxwell Agbagba, stated replacing such experienced staff could derail academic progress at the tertiary institutions. The National Council on Tertiary Education, in a letter to the universities, asked them to delete from government's payroll post-retirement contract lecturers above 65 years.
The blame should be, for me, should be with the Public Services Commission because they know so well what pertains on the ground in our universities. And so for them to refuse to grant the university that clearance in order to continue to maintain those colleagues on payroll, I mean, it's a worrying kind of situation.
Okay, so contrary to what many have described as the Auditor General's campaign to get people who are on contract, I mean, post-retirement contracts removed from government of Ghana payroll, you think that the Public Services Commission is to blame for this?
Yes, for me, it's the Public Services Commission that needs to be blamed. The Auditor General is doing his work. He is applying the law. He wants authorization to continue to keep such names on the payroll. So he feels that that authorization must come from Public Services Commission. So the universities approached the Public Services Commission for that authorization. They refused, blatantly refused. Several meetings have been held with them. They refused, thinking that the universities must be treated as the civil service or the public service, which is never done anywhere.
What makes the universities special? I've heard the arguments that for a job like teaching in the university, just like driving, the more you drive, then you become experienced. I've heard the saying that lecturers are like wine. The older they are, the better, they taste.
Exactly, because as you teach, as you research, that is where you gain the experience, that you come to know your subject area better than anybody else. So you are an expert in the area. And when it comes to training postgraduates, you need people of, senior lecturer, professorial rank to be able to treat them, to train them. And so by the time you become a professor, you are almost 80, and you are almost 60 and above. Generally, because it is not easy. And so if you are thinking that somebody who has spent his time to gather knowledge and is now in a position to train the younger ones, because he's 60, he should be thrown out, then you are not doing the country any service at all. That is why all over the world, most places, lecturers teach for as long as they are able to.
What is the way forward for UTAC? Already we've seen some opposition towards this, move. What is UTAC going to do?
The good news is that the President of the Republic has intervened. He called a meeting and has directed that the right thing be done.
Oh, when was this meeting called?
Oh, that was about 3 days ago.
3 days ago?
Yes. And so we are confident that this case will be put behind us. And looking into the future, something must be done about this so that it's not that it's been dealt with today and then tomorrow it's raised again. It must be dealt with once and for all.
I'm sure you had information from that meeting. Are you able to share with us what discussions went on with the president?
No, the president thinks that it is not done anywhere. And so he has asked that the stakeholders should sit down and resolve this problem once and for all. And that we need the professors. Without the professors, our universities cannot be rated.
So in the coming days, you'll be engaging the Public Services Commission?
Yes.
And then the NCT?
Yes, they were at the meeting. Okay. They were at the meeting themselves. And they heard clearly what the president told them to do. So we are hopeful that in the next few weeks, this issue will be behind us.
Okay.
Well, some university students are already kicking against the decision to remove the lecturers from government's payroll. Let's hear some of them.
As a university, you want your research hub to be very effective. You need more professors because it's these professors that can supervise PhD programs. And if you go to the various departments, you realize that they are understaffed when it comes to professors. And University of Ghana has positioned itself in such a way that it will be a research-based university, and that is what has even helped it to be acknowledged as one of the best.
And it was one of the visions of the Vice Chancellor, the immediate past.
And that there's a continuity ongoing. So what happens is that with the influx of private universities, people can go offer their bachelor's, their Master of Science in some degrees, but they would have to come here and then do their graduate programs. And these graduate programs can only be effectively supervised by professors. So it's not just a question about
professors above 65 years. You have those below 65 years who can also do that.
No, mostly. Even as you were interacting with Dr. Agban, he made mention of the fact that there are few professors who are actually below 60 or 65. A lot of people spend their time researching, and so by the time they attain associate professorship status, they are about 55 or 50, and so they grow or they get experience on the job. So I think it's a sensitive position. Even if you are scraping it off, as is the argument, it is not automatic that you have people or you have lecturers occupying that position.
I think this is a very sensitive issue because me, for instance, if I'm done with school and I want to come back and do something at my department, I'll need someone with such an experience to, help me and stuff. Sometimes it will be prudent that spaces are left for us to also come and occupy. But then some positions I think are sensitive. And we all know that to the extent that they go to before they get these kind of PhDs and then the professorship and other things. So when they get there and it's time for them to impart that knowledge to us and they are forced to leave, it's a very worrying phenomenon because we also need that knowledge. People travel all the way from the world to come here to gain that knowledge, to tap into their knowledge that they've gotten over the years. So if they are made or they are forced to leave, it becomes a very, very worrying situation.
Very worrying situation.
Yeah.
Now, residents of 8 communities in the German South municipality of the Bonahafu region have had their movements restricted at night and early parts of the morning following the imposition of an indefinite curfew. The curfew follows bloody clashes between the youth of Drobo and Japekrom, leading to the death of 2 persons, including a chief, and leaving several others injured. Bonahafu Regional Minister Evan Sopoku Bobie, who is also chairman of RECSEC, told Joy News that police is on a manhunt for perpetrators of a crime.
The German South Municipal Assembly is made up of 8 major communities. That makes the security very difficult for police and the military. And so recommended that a curfew should be imposed to forestall further hostilities or further crashes. The curfew is going to start each day from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and it is until further notice. The intelligence people are there, I believe.
You're welcome back. This is still Joy News Today. Now, warehouses constructed to store large quantities of quinoa for the manufacture of jute bags are wasting away. The construction or the structures have been abandoned for nearly 30 years after the collapse of a jute factory in Kumasi, compelling farmers to look elsewhere for survival. Prince Appiah visited some communities where kenaf, the raw material for the manufacture of sacks, was a major source of livelihood, and now reports.
Bosom Cheche, located in the Mampo municipality in the Ashanti region, was once a hub for kenaf production, used to manufacture cocoa sacks. It was cultivated on this 1,200-acre land, now being used to cultivate maize. 64-year-old Yao Edudonko and 66-year-old Ekia Anochewa, both are former workers of the defunct Bast Fiber Development Board. Opini Donko walks the news team through a section of the 1,200-acre land until he finds a kenaf plant to convince us they used to cultivate here.
We get, how do you call it, profit inside. Now within that, our town here, they employ many boys. Unemployed boys, girls, women, somebody like my sister here, she was a young, they employ us. Then we do work here. We get something for our own chop money, for our own benefit, everything where we use. But when the fiber got off, the company broke, we went to our side. Myself, I went to Nigeria. When I come back from Nigeria, I watch here, there's no work here. I have to go back to Accra. So I tell myself to be a mason.
His colleague, Mame Anochewa, says it was a tedious work, but brought a lot of benefit to the people here.
Nana ne brone de na edin enti mema no na na ebro e ma ne de yen aduma ye ne se yehuso enti e ba ne tete man ya wo ba bia wo bia bag mi nu a na wapon ne ansa na be hu bag mi nu so no abem e fi se na ehine etesa apia e ba krom ha be boa yen e ma ayen ma ye didwa no se wonnu aduane kwasi abonte anam se ye pe bia di akọ adumenti na ma ye to na ma ye ho nkyire ye ma mpuntu ba.
From Bosom Cheche, the harvested plants are sent to Aframso in the Dra-Sechidumase district in the same region. Offices of the kenaf company are all available. The tank in which the plants were washed are now covered by spirogyra. In the same enclave is this warehouse, deep in the bush.
Here is one of the spaces where jute plants back in the days were harvested and brought and housed for many days before they are processed. But more than 30 years, this warehouse plus many others have been abandoned and taken over by squatters and settler farmers.
Available information indicates Cocoa Board imports about $30 million worth of jute bags annually to bag cocoa. Pakistan, Cote d'Ivoire, India and Bangladesh are beneficiaries, while Ghanaian farmers are reduced to pale shadows of their glorious past. Back at Bosom Cheche, this other warehouse is almost rotting away. Parts of the roof are gone. Cow dung covers a section inside of the warehouse, while weeds take over the rest. Both Opini Donko and Mame Anochewa expect more from the government.
If you watch here, you can see only corn and some other job where you are not benefiting anything from it. But if you get a fiber work here, we all go benefit something from it. So we beg the company or the government to bring fiber board once more to our town here.
Farmers here and other producing areas are the biggest losers as cultivation of kenaf remains history due to collapse of the Kumasi jute factory. Prince Appiah reporting.
That's our agenda on idle factories there by my colleague Prince Appiah. Now, Chief Executive Officer of the John Ejekum Kufuor Foundation, Professor Bafo Ajimandua, has charged parents to adopt innovative ways of feeding their children. Professor Ajimandua believes this is very critical for the development of the children. He was speaking at the launch of a Nutritious Ghana conference on Accra. There's more in this report.
According to UNICEF, too many children in Ghana suffer from health issues as a result of malnutrition, which is an underlying cause of 1/3 of all infant deaths. Speaking at the launch of Nutritious Ghana Conference, Chief Executive of John Agyekunkufor Foundation, Professor Bafwa Jemanjia, underscored the need for adequate child nutrition.
It is at the bottom of our development challenge. We need to make sure our children are well fed with the right nutritious content so they can grow and become effective leaders, right thinkers, and make our development blossom.
Technical advisor at the Ministry of Planning, Kojo Mensah Brampa, emphasized the need to introduce healthy eating habits in schools to eliminate child malnutrition.
Nutritional education is an important element in an overall strategy towards improving food security and the prevention of all forms of malnutrition. Schools, from preschool to secondary school, are ideal settings for promoting long life, healthy eating habits and lifestyles. It is therefore imperative that we inculcate these innovative strategies from preschool to high school as a way to promote healthy eating habits among the youth who form the majority of our population.
Meanwhile, Chair of Nutritious Ghana Conference, Dr. Gertrude Koshiga, called on Ghanaians to support Ghanaian farmers by patronizing local foods.
We have to give prominence, we have to give pride to our local farm produce. So that's the only way we can help the farmers.
The Nutritious Ghana Conference is a platform for nutritious experts, agriculturists, policymakers, and other professionals in the food value chain to dialogue on the innovative ways of curbing malnutrition and achieving a nutritious Ghana.
Now, the Food and Drugs Authority has arrested one person suspected to be retailing breast-enhancing creams in Kumasi. The authority undertook the exercise with the support of the police service. The action comes after reports of widespread use of breast-enhancing creams, which Lab FM's Nana Yaujima revealed in an investigation. The suspect, who is in police custody, is expected to help the authority arrest importers of such products. Nora Naki Telabi is head of Food and Drugs Authority in the Ashanti region.
He's a peddler. He has only few quantities. So he's not our main target. Yes, he is presenting it to the market. But we actually are looking for the person who is importing these. If we are able to get the importer, it's believed then that you plug the hole or you plug the assets. So yes, we are working with him. He's been handed to the regional police. The police are trying to interrogate him and find out who actually brought it to him. Because as of now, what he's telling us is he was at his usual selling point, and a Nigerian woman was passing by and gave him these items to sell. So that is what we are doing. We have now. We are getting other information. Today, for instance, we are back in town trying to see whether we can locate other people who are peddling these items. Because then we realize that they are adding this to the aphrodisiacs, the unregistered aphrodisiacs that we worked on a number of years ago. It seems like they are creeping back into the system. I would not be able to tell. I mean, it will be multifaceted, so it will not be only our porous borders. It may be the demand that there seems to be in this country. Suddenly there's a demand for a particular kind of sexual performance. There is a demand for a particular body type, and so on and so on. So the reason may be multifaceted. These are products that periodically we see on our market. You work on it, the people realize that no, now the FDA is on top of this thing. They slow down a bit, then they start up again. These are, so long as the demand for these things are there, then people would always find a way to bring them into our account.
Away from that story, poor road network scene is hindering economic activities of the people of Amoma, a farming community in the Kintampo South District of the Bunafu region. Residents say the situation is having a toll on their lives as visiting market men and women do not visit the market anymore as a result of armed robbery attacks due to the bad nature of the roads. Joy News' Anas Sabit visited the community and came up with the following report.
Amoma route, the road linking Amoma Nkwanta to Amoma community. The road is in a deplorable state, obviously, looking at the gully that has been, drafted here as a result of serious erosion. This is the situation here. Drivers have been complaining of what they go through on daily basis in terms of maintaining their cars because of the bad nature of the road. And interestingly, the gully is so deep to the extent that if care is not taken, a day will come, the entire route will be, divided into two portions, which will make it unmotorable. So we are heading towards the community. We'll be willing to speak with some people in the community and then find out from them how this particular road is affecting economic activities within the community. Since the era of Buzia, when something was done about this road up till date, nothing has been done about it again. There have been successive governments since then, but none of them ever thought of fixing this road for us. So if this government wants to help us, then it should do something about it. Even when it's raining heavily, drivers have to park their cars for the rains to cease before we are able to proceed with our journey. Same applies to when you are taking a pregnant woman to the hospital. We are faced with so many challenges on a daily basis. Madame Cecilia, I'll say, is a market woman who trades in the yam business. She's worried about the nature of the road and its economic effects on the yam business. What is worrying us most is the bad nature of our roads. Due to the nature of the roads, drivers usually double the fares for us because their cars get faulty on the road, and when this happens, we run at loss because our produce also go waste. So we plead on government to come to our aid so farmers would have some ease. To Kwabna Yebua, who has been plying this route for the past 15 years as a commercial driver, the state of the road is having a toll on his business, adding that armed robbers have taken over the road due to its bad state.
Because promises about 2 times.
Politicians keep deceiving us whenever they need our votes. When it's raining, we have so many problems, including struggling to take referred patients to higher health facilities. Armed robbers are now preventing traders from coming to this community to do business. Only recently, I was nearly killed by robbers. Take a look at my car. Only God saved me. So what we want to say is that until they fix this road, we are not going to vote in the next elections. Frank has also been a victim of armed robbery attack. He explains how he spends so much on maintenance due to the state of the road.
then I may perform the coffee, make car, blast, make car tie. On Sequani, ya, every I may speed, I may be Hano, Cronford, Sir, and Roberts and getting it on to me, you know. And I just say, we have been a motivated cross of Quino. To me, who say, Quino, de Amboa, say a cars baby, a week to me, come maintenance almost 5 million. Now imagine, say, Quanway, we are more Quanway, so now our maintenance 5 million, damn pan away. The Bian is so can't able, as a cars. Young Casacry, Cabe was so sa could do fear even. Oh, girlfriend, Bobby Crown to me, you are.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Amoma.
Join us today. After the break, we have some updates on the implementation of a tax stamp policy with Sandra Esenamapeno after the break.